Sup? Got a Tucson. Living on Tucson time. Yeah, man. All right. That's kind of been the theme. Did a Tulsa, Tucson. Okay. I mean, David Chin. It's a big budget piece, right? And come on. It's my Echo. Favorite. Yeah, man. I like that Echo. Speaking of Echo, pocket check. Currently, I'm kind of lounging around the house in some sweats, and I have my kubey Mizo. Good grief, do I like this little thing. Great action, spidey flick. It's got that fuller. It's hard to get a hold of, but you can just get that spidey flick. Oop. Yep, wonderful back action. And I mean, for a budget piece, I believe these are under $30. And this thing finds its way into my pocket regularly. Yeah, man. My little kubey Mizo. There's my pocket check. All right. That's a company right now that's, man, do they have a lot of cool new stuff coming right now. Kubey. I believe, ooh, look at how oily this one is. I mean, it is covered. Let's get that managed. Which one was the oily bag? I didn't pay attention. I think it's this one. Yeah, let's get rid of that. We'll cause an oil slick. I don't think we need this no more. All right, here we go. Yeah, David Chen has become a staple over at Tucson. He drops new designs and collaborations a lot. All right, let's get that out of there. What's that look like? Yeah. 14C, it's a TS516 stonewash 14C 28N steel. Nice little drop point. It's a full handful of knife right there. The liner lock is pretty stiff. It's got a lot of tension on it. We'll pay attention to that when we take it apart. And of course, it may just need to be run a few times. Let's get rid of all the background noise. All right. Back flipper only. No other deployment on the knife. Yeah, the detent's solid. No way to fail it. Deep carry pocket clip. Fair amount of tension. Lanyard hole. It's got a short back spacer. Y'all are wondering if I could touch it, aren't you? Can you touch it? Can I pet that doggy? I don't know why that thing sticks in my head. It's just cute. All right, well, interesting. Let's get in it. I do want to pay attention to where this is when we come out of there. Right now, the outside edge of the liner lock is just almost lined up with the inside edge of the liner right there. So that's the reference I pay attention to. Let's get that off of there. Not too tight. I'm guessing we're going to be T8s across the board here. Yep, big hardware. Tucson has a tendency to run T8s, especially on their newer models. I am going to pull the clip because there's going to be a mountain of oil underneath both these scales up against the liners. There's no way it can't be. The thing was soaked with oil. Yeah, look at all the oil that's in there. So we definitely want to get all that out of there. Standard single roll bearings. We'll take a look real quick, see if they're steel or if they're ceramic. They're definitely ceramic, plastic caged ceramic bearings. Yeah, we're going to completely strip this dude. It's got this two-tone G10. A little brown here versus the black. That brown would take purple, so could highlight that purple against that black. It's a thought. But I tend to not, I'm going to go ahead and get busy with a towel here. I tend to not modify these Tucsons now. They become a collection as a whole, and so, I don't know, they become like a pure collection. I don't modify them, I don't carry them. Yeah. I do think I was talking to a couple of the channel regulars recently. I'm thinking that we may be close to. I may test the waters for that whole collection and see if I could find an interested party. Of course, the question becomes, with something that large, I mean, and I'm not a collector of things. The Tucson thing kind of snuck up on me. I was buying Tucson knives because they were a budget product. That I bought one, then I bought another, and they're pretty nice, and I bought another, and someplace it took on a life of its own. But like if you had comic books, or I don't know if that's, if you collected Marvel comic books and there was, 600 of them and you had successfully secured, 400 of them, would you be better off moving that collectively as a whole or individually? Clearly, you would think the greater value would be collectively, because once you split that up, there's a lot of pieces in that Tucson collection that won't have any value at all, or hardly any. But then there's others that, because they're rare, harder to find, definitely out of production, haven't been seen in a while, somewhat of a unicorn, that will bring substantially more individually. Yeah, so I haven't figured it all out. I am prepared at this point. I'm gonna box them up. I've bought some custom boxes that those Tucson boxes will fit into, and I'm gonna take them out of the hard cases and move them into cardboard boxes. I finally finished all of the 2 rows of Tucson videos, and so I am in the process of organizing them from the newest or the smallest TS number, like TS1, 2, 3, and chronologically organizing them, which I didn't have before. So if I was looking for a particular model, it was kind of a nightmare because I didn't log what case they were in and any of that. So if I had to go look for one, a lot of times I'd have to look in several cases to find the knife that I'm looking for. Now, you handle them enough, I started to have somewhat of a memory of where they were. Yeah, so look at this space here. Let's talk about this knife. So when this locks up, this is where it's at rest. And when it locks up, it's way over there. So I definitely can take some out of that, take the stiffness out of it. I took about half of that, but it still has to go from there to there for lockup. So I think it's going to be way better. What I don't know is, did that take out the detent? Is it not going to have any detent? And so, you know, when I go to test the can I fail it test, will it fail? I'm going to use this towel here and protect this clip. I'm going to close that gap a little bit and put a little bit of tension on this clip. See how I did that? I just closed that gap. No mar, no wear. Just a little extra tension on it. All right. Well, let's put it back together. Yeah, lots of oil, man. This thing was oily. I don't know if I did this pivot very well. So I'm going to... Yeah, so I'm in the process of chronologically storing them so that if I want to find a model, I can find it quickly, which of course kind of lends itself to maybe selling the pieces individually. You know, of course, it'd be a lot easier to sell them as a group and just, you know, update the, if you go to the community section or down below, I'm not sure where it's at now, but there's a link to a spreadsheet that shows an image of each knife and the basic Tucson descriptive. And then a knife count, that kind of thing. How many is there? And so I think I may initially just update that list and kind of announce, hey, you know, this collection's in play, and see. You know, there may be somebody that has comfortable resources and they may want to get in the Tucson collecting game. It's a pretty solid collection, so we'll see. But I do think I'm ready to kind of move on to other things, and I think the channel's getting ready to move on to other things. You know, one of the hesitations is laying on this bench. I mean, I still search Tucson knives. I look for them almost every day. You know, I see what's available and, you know, the current auctions. I see what Timber's Edge Knives is bringing in. And so it's kind of one of those. It's like, well, I don't know. How can I get rid of that collection when I'm still collecting? You know what I mean? It's like, ugh. Yeah, dilemma, man. But I think I may put it in play, and we'll just see what happens. And just like any other knife, I mean, if I find a nice one that I like, I can still get it. That's pocket clip screw, little crown screws. Here we go. I want to put one in the back here so that I've got balance on the tension from the front to the back of the knife, and then I want to check that detent. Well, it's much better. I can tell you from digging in here, it's much better now. Still drop shut action. Absolutely no rock in that blade. I'm going to check it for failure. Yeah, we're solid. Yeah, well, let's finish putting it together. How about that? I'm going to do a proper check-in on it. I can already say that this is probably going to land as a really proper budget pocket knife. It's a handful. It's tough. It's got a tall, flat grind blade. 14C steel. Nice textured G10 scales. I mean, look at that G10. You know, the neat thing about this G10 is it will take purple as well. So to dye this would come out purple, but then there'd be a purple tint in all this texture because that's basically a white behind that. But yeah, it's got nice texture on that G10. Well, let's talk about this action. Back flipper only, the blade is perfectly centered. Can't fail it. Yeah, it's still got a great detent on it. Let's check the detent on the bottom side. How are we closing up? Kind of out of order here, but let's check it. Yeah, it just snaps it right in there. Wonderful. This blade has got a beautiful edge on it. Nice satin stonewash. Yeah. The logos and stuff are definitely subdued. Small letters. Is that drop shut? Or yeah, just a slight shake, but very hydraulic. It runs extremely well. Access to the lock bar, we're scalloped here and just ever so slightly lowered. So reaching in is intuitive. You just reach in. It does catch the thumb. Doesn't take a lot of tension to release that now. But of course I did tune it. So without tuning it, it was a little stiff out of the package. But it's running wonderfully right now. Very hydraulic. And I may even be a little over tight on this pivot. I'm going to check it because we are so close to just being completely drop action. Yeah, I think it is what it is. I'm actually going to put a little bit of tension back into that because I don't know that I noticed an improvement in the action by loosening that up. And I think I'd rather have the pivot a little tighter. Yeah, I mean, B plus, A minus. It's solid. It's really smooth. It functions really well. It's easy to access it. The flipper tab is above the center of the pivot, so there's leverage there. The jimping is reasonable. It's not, I'm not going to call it sharp. It's kind of fairly subdued, knocked down, but it's sharp enough that it's a confident flick out there. Yeah. It's nice. B plus, A minus. I mean, it's solid action for sure. Ergonomics, it's got some jimping up here. It's not quite combat jimping, but it definitely provides a grip. The flipper tab creates a nice finger guard, so not so confident, confident, very confident. I mean, with this in hand right here, I'm going to say, whoop, we're going to fly over this confident grip and head towards very confident. Really locked in, wonderful grip, very secure, big handle. So definitely a large knife that fills the hand. I mean, I dig it. Reverse grip, yeah, you can cap it, but I believe this one's going to be a wonderful Pakal style grip. The cap on the back, and I would much rather have come down hard here like so than here like so, coming against the dull spine of the blade, against the liner lock. Whereas this way, I'm coming against the stop pin. Yep. And if it failed, the dull side of the blade is coming towards my fingers. Versus this way, if the liner fails, the lock fails, the sharp part of the blade's coming around onto my fingers. Yep. I know I explained that a lot, but it's for anybody that first time they see me go, I'd rather be here than here. They go, why? Well, that's why. But very powerful, strong grip here. I think I could absolutely smash this down with a wonderful amount of force. Yeah, no question. The pocket clip disappears in hand, very comfortable. Speaking of that pocket clip, let's check it. Pocket clip, check. Of course, it's standard old school Tucson clip. It's going to run wonderfully. Almost completely deep carry. It's got maybe 1/8 of an inch poking out of the pocket. Even with it being deep carry, it does represent a larger knife, I think. Looking at that, I think it reveals that there's a large knife under that pocket. Now, I added quite a bit of tension to it, and it does have good tension in the pocket, but it's super smooth. I mean, I'm glad I added the tension, because without that additional tension, I probably would have had to take that off and add some. My spot in the back pocket, yeah, wonderful. Like, I wouldn't even know that was there. It would just go in there. Now, it does have some heft. There's, it's not a 3-ounce knife. It's probably closer to a 4 or 5-ounce knife for sure. But it's cool. Safety. Yep, you saw me do it earlier, so let me answer the question. No contact with the blade through the back of the scales. About it. Let's talk about the tip. Yeah, the tip is recessed in there, and so when I run my finger there, I am fully clear of the tip. So the clip's good, tip's good, and I'm confident that I can handle this knife any old way I want, and I'm not going to catch the sharp part. Yeah, cool. 14C. How's that blade? Big, tall, flat grind. Let's get a good piece of this small piece of paper here. I mean, I think it needs a simple strop. And so, yeah, I'm just going to run it a couple of passes on my big strop. I'm going to keep the angle high versus low, because I don't want to ghost that stonewash. If I stropped it low with a low angle like this, it would leave like a little ghost trail along the edge of that. So I just want to be up on that bevel. So I'm going to stay high. And all I'm trying to do is knock off any burr that might be on there. Keep my angle high so that the only thing touching that strop is that grind bevel. Not up on that flat at all. Yeah, 2 passes. Let's see what we did. It wasn't bad. It just felt a little toothy. Yeah, it's completely transformed. It needed a strop, not a big deal. And it's not like it needed hours of strop on a barbershop leather strop. It's like, oh, I got to really hone this knife up. I took 2 passes on, a simple strop. Just had some micro burrs on it, and now it's crazy sharp, wonderfully sharp. All right. Price and availability. How much are these? I do believe that they're currently still running on eBay auctions, so you can pick them up there. But let me see what I can find out. TS516, 14C 28N. Okay, at the time of this video, I am still seeing active auctions for this on eBay. And of course, with a knife like this, 100% the way to go is a live auction, because I have seen a few fixed prices on this particular piece, this 516, and they're $50-ish or more, whereas the live auctions, you can pick these up for, I'm going to say $35 reasonably, and possibly even less, maybe even sub $30. And so, I have to comment now. So let's say this was $35. Is this worth $35? Well, in my opinion, 100,000,000% it is. Yeah, 14C stonewashed, beautiful finish, fit and finish on the knife. The action is wonderful. The ergonomics are wonderful. It is a big, wonderful pocket knife that, definitely this thing could be put to use. And for $35, A beater with 14C, excellent ergos. Yeah, come on, man. What a great budget piece. You can choke up here if that's your thing, to really slice and cut some stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. TS516, $30, $35, man. Come on. What a bargain. Appreciate y'all watching.